On December 3rd, 2012, John Petruescu landed an enormous yellowfin tuna on board the XL fishing on the remote Hurricane Bank. Captain Justin Fleck wondered, would it be bigger than Mike Livingston's 405-pound yellowfin? Or Robert Pedrigo or Guy Yoakum, both with 427-pound yellowfin tuna?
Congratulations, John. 445 pounds. Congratulations.
Well done. Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. It's a gorgeous Saturday morning. Feels like it could start raining at any point in time, and the wind's coming up a little bit, maybe 10 knots, but you can see back behind me, the ocean looks pretty darn good. So hopefully there's going to be some more good bass fishing and halibut. The gray whale migration is in full stride right now, going by Southern California on their way, the grays that is, from the Bering Sea down to the warm water lagoons of Baja, California. And we'll take a deep dive at the end of today's morning briefing with Pat O'Brien from the Aloha Spirit. Had another great halibut day on board the Aloha Spirit out of Cisco Sportfishing in Oxnard. We're going to take a deep dive on how you can be successful, not only there on the Aloha Spirit, but anywhere you're fishing halibut. Stay tuned at the end of today's report. You're going to get that, and you're going to learn a lot. Also, Brian Pfeiffer on board the Independence, making their way up the Baja Peninsula right now, pointed towards San Diego to offload a great long-range trip. We've got that and La Fogata tomorrow. Don't forget Sherman Oaks, 1 to 3 in the afternoon. We'll be gathering there with all of you. Great Mexican food, some football, talking some fishing. Should be a really great time. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Oh my God, that is so good. Coffee in the morning. What could be better? Well, maybe avoiding the rain here this morning, because it's feeling like it could start to rain a little bit. It's great to be with you all. Thanks for spending a little bit of your Saturday with me here this morning. As I've said, you're going to love Pat O'Brien at the end of today's report. Don't go anywhere. Pat has a lot of information on what's going on up there with the halibut bite, what he thinks is a powder keg that we're sitting on. There's going to be a yellowtail or a sea bass or more halibut. An explosion is what Pat is saying. He's out right now. We'll be checking with him later on in the day, and we'll keep you in touch with all the very latest. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share these videos with a friend, tick the bell. You'll be notified when there's new content. And of course, subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. 12,000 plus of you have done that, and I deeply, deeply appreciate it. You can also catch us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So much to cover with you. But first of all, tomorrow at La Fogata, we'll be there in Sherman Oaks. The Elf will be there. Greg Bates and Dan Lightfoot, a deity worshipped in the Sri Lankan jungles. There's so many great folks who are going to show up, people that I don't even know who will be there. But I'm looking forward to really spending some precious hours with you all. That is for sure. All right, let's jump into it. We'll go down to Cabo San Lucas, or right near there, San Jose del Cabo, where Sean Morgan, Captain Morgan, is running the Wild and Sack, a beautiful yacht out of San Jose del Cabo. And he says it's a stone's throw, couple miles, and there's striped marlin, there's dorado, there's yellowfin tuna, there's wahoo. Now, not every single day is wide open. In fact, most days I would not characterize as wide open, but you get a shot at most of those species on every single trip, and sometimes it's really, really good. Other times you miss. What can I tell you? A little bit of inconsistency down there, but still all those different species. That's pretty darn good here for January. Beautiful weather. It is lovely down there in that neck of the woods. We bring you up and also take a look at the San Quintin area. That's only 140 miles down the Baja coast from the Mexican-American border. I love that drive, by the way. You know, that drive from TJ down to Ensenada is gorgeous. It is so beautiful. And then you go down to San Quintin, and they're catching yellowtail on the yo-yo iron, some surface ironfish also. We're kind of seeing evidence of El Nino with some warm water species early this year, and the halibut are already seemingly spawning up there in the Channel Islands. More on that with Pat O'Brien. But I'm telling you right now, we are seeing some good fishing down there. Not every day on the yellowtail, but some good smacking from time to time on the Forkies down there in that neck of the woods. And of course, plenty of rockfish for everybody. And in Ensenada, I was just there the other day. It was so much fun. First of all, went down and met my dear friend Diego Nuno with Greg Bates, and we went out and distributed some clothing and other essentials to the poor. We saw some of the needs that we need to take care of down there. We saw people who need wheelchairs and walkers, and we've got them, and we're going back here shortly to take care of some of those people in addition to some other needs that we saw. But anyway, back to the fishing. I'll tell you, those big bonita are still around. A few more yellowtail being taken down there in the Ensenada area. Also, big bonita, yellowtail. I mean, what else can you want? How about some early season barracuda hits? There's been a little bit of that going on. Calico bass, not too shabby either, and plenty of rockfish. So I'm telling you, down there in Ensenada, which is 70 miles below the border, great drive, you'll love it. It is cranked up and biting pretty good for January, I will tell you that. This wind, not too bad, and you know, it doesn't sound like it's going to get terrible, but we are going to get a little breeze here today and tomorrow, and then next week could get a little dicey in some areas. We'll keep our eyes on that for you very closely. In terms of measurable rain here in Huntington Beach, you know, maybe a quarter of an inch over the next 48 hours, maybe a half inch. We'll see. But so far, not all that much here today. All right, now that we've got Mexico covered, let's get into the long-range situation. What better way to do it than to hook you up live with the beautiful Independence? Yeah, we've got that 5-day trip in April on the Indy, but Brian is making his way up the Baja coast, and Landfill came to us live. I thought I'd let you listen and get you caught up on some long-range fishing. Remind you all that the Royal Polaris is en route. The XL is arriving to the ground several hundred miles down the Baja coast. But without further ado, here's Brian. Landfill is his nickname. Let's turn you over to Landfill and let him catch you up. How's your ride up the Baja Peninsula? Where do we find you right now? Where are you?
We are about 80 miles south of Alejos Rocks, working our way back home. Beautiful weather, actually. For the last couple days, we got beautiful weather, and it looks like we're going to have a nice ride up all the way.
What do you have, like another couple of days to go?
We got, a little over 2 more days.
All right, excellent. All right, let's talk about your trip. What are you on, a 16-day?
We are on a 16-day.
All right, great. And how did the trip start out? I saw you guys catching some really nice yellowfin tuna.
Yeah, it turned out really well. We fished lower down in down south. Turned out really well. First couple days, you know, we had majority of our 60 to 80 pound yellowfin tuna. You know, and then we had a couple windows of those 100, 180s. I think we caught a few cows over 200. You know, sinker rig was best on 100-pound. Kite fish was really good with flyers and squid. And, you know, in the dark, too, those PL68 knife jigs were working really well early morning.
Yeah, in fact, just a couple days ago, you had a pretty good bite, kind of a before the sun came up kind of bite that transitioned into a fly line sinker rig bite. Am I right about that?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, like 4:30 in the morning, it was PL68 knife jigs, and the bite just continued all the way throughout the day. So we're stoked. It was good fishing, early morning sinker rigs and jigs.
Excellent. What would you think your big fish, your biggest fish is? Is it up there around 200?
Yeah, we got a few that are over 200. You know, we tape them out here, so you know it's just a general, you know, weight that we kind of go off. But they can be bigger, they can be a little smaller, you know, at the dock. But I'm pretty sure we got about 4 cows on the boat.
Wow, that is fantastic. And how was your who fishing? Was that good?
It was not good for us. I don't know if we were late to the party. We were the fourth boat down, so it was a little slower for us. We never could figure it out. I think we ended up with about 40 wahoo for the trip, which is a little slower, but we just never had the opportunity to, full speed wahoo bite or nothing. But we picked and scratched every day. It just wasn't for us.
Yeah, I mean, that happens. I get that, man. Those things are squirrely sometimes. So now you're heading up the peninsula. Are you done? Are you going to fish anything else, or are you done? Straight lining for home.
No, we are done. We are just straight homeward bound. We gave it a little in there to try to catch some more wahoo. But other than that, no, we're done for the trip.
Yellowfin, wahoo, any other exceptional catches or any other species that you were able to catch?
No, there's not too much else down here. You'll catch some bottom grabbers. There's chopas and some type of jacks and grouper and stuff. But other than that, it's pretty much a big wahoo and some nice yellowfin, and that's it. Unless you go up to the rocks or along the beach or something. But we stay down south looking for that big yellowfin.
I got you, Brian. Very good. Hey, there's a lot of people watching now, and a couple are saying hi. Blue Skies, Daniel Lightfoot. They're loving this. They're enjoying this. I want to look ahead because April 4th through the 9th, that happens to be my son's birthday. I think he's coming out with us on that trip. It's a 5-day trip in April. And to me, I just see all kinds of options, but you're the man. I mean, I'm some dummy sitting in a podcast office all the time. You're actually out there. You have a way better feel for this than I do. What do you see for that trip?
April is early in the year. Being one of the first trips to go out, I would assume it's going to be strictly bluefin fishing. You do have a chance if that bluefin really works out. We can go into the beach since it's a 5-day. You have some room. We can catch some yellowtail. If that doesn't work out, option a rockfish or things like that. But I say 90% of the trip will probably be dedicated for this bluefin early
Right.
that year.
And we'll get plenty of time on a 5-day. I mean, we had a 5-day last year with you guys that was absolutely phenomenal. We had such a great time. I mean, the fishing, the crew, the boat itself, the food, it was just fantastic. So there's no doubt that you're going to have plenty of time. So if you get a little weather or the fish are down on a day, you got 5 days, which gives you ample opportunity. Am I right about that?
Correct. A 5-day, you got plenty of time just for that scenario. If you do have weather or the fish are lockjaw and they don't want to bite, you got a lot of opportunity, a lot of time to recover and get your chance to catch something.
So to make my life easy, man, I'm really making you work here tonight. But I could take this video and tell everybody who's going on that trip what tackle to bring right now. And things change, and I know you'd update. But what would you suggest to bring?
I suggest right now I would have a 30, 40 pound fly line. I'd have a 60 to 80 pound sinker rig, and then obviously your 100 pound nighttime knife jig at nighttime. Those would be your go-to. Daytime would be mostly fly line, sinker rigs, and then your nighttime will be the knife jig, flat fall type stuff.
Excellent. And if we were to get it done on the bluefin, you mentioned going into the beach for a yellowtail. Do you envision sea bass and halibut being a possibility on a trip like that up north, or is that something that you would consider?
That's kind of really hard to judge.
Right.
Sea bass and halibut would kind of be, it's a long shot on that for sure. That
Yes.
being so early, we don't know where the bluefin is going to be. Usually it's down south, Ensenada, Colnet, things like that, and that type of year. So, that possibility for or halibut and sea bass is kind of far in between, I would say. Mostly just bluefin, yellowtail, things like that from down south.
That sounds awesome to me. Hey, we've got some people watching and they're commenting right now saying a 5-day trip gives you lots of options. It should be a great one. And I'm thinking it will be. Are you going to be
at any of the shows coming up, or are you on the water? And hang on. Oh, we lost Brian. He's back. There you are.
No, so we won't be. Paulina, Mark, and Paul, I believe, will be showing their face there at the show. We leave on another 16-day, January 25th. So myself or the crew will not be making it.
All right, very good, Brian. Hey, before we let you run off and do whatever you're going to do, some people are asking about the boat itself, like the length of the boat and the capabilities of the boat and the food on the boat. Could you give us a quick rundown on that?
Yeah, so we're 113 feet by 33 feet. Very stable platform. We got a steel hull, aluminum house. We sleep 32 people, 18 staterooms. And Chef Ed and Rolo will be taking care of you guys in the chef department. It's pretty much a luxury hotel on the water. You guys cannot beat this boat. It's very beautiful, very stable. Crew's excellent, things like that. It's a 5-star boat to come out on.
Yeah, I can attest to that. That's why not only do we have the 5-day, we have an 8-day with you, and I'm so looking forward to that. Brian, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're busy, you got a lot to do. Thank you very much, and safe travels home.
No problem, Phil. Take care. Thank you, guys.
Take care, Brian.
See ya.
All right, Brian, thank you for the great update. As always, deeply appreciated. Independent sport fishing, you can't get it any better than that. And remember, April 4th through the 9th, we'll be on board the Independence for what promises to be a fun and special 5-day trip. You can sign up online, you can call the number, or you can go to the Bard Hall Show on January 25th through the 28th. Find the Independence booth and ask more questions, get more information, and if it looks good to you, you could sign up. And remember, the Bar Hall Show starts Thursday. That is going to be so much fun. I'll be there every single day. It's going to be fantastic. No question about that. All right, let's talk about what is going on in terms of the local bite here. A lot of focus on halibut, and I'm telling you, it's been pretty darn good. Several landings are doing like halibut competitions or just focused on halibut. You know, if they don't bite, then they look for some sculpin and bass and that kind of thing, but they've been doing pretty good. Native Sun, 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California. 16 anglers. They released 12 halibut, so good action. Had 6 legal fish, a couple fish up over 15 pounds. Pretty darn good, a little bass and sculpin mixed in with it. And the Native Sun is running Wednesday through Sundays out of 22nd Street, and they are focused mostly on halibut, but they also have a halibut kind of tournament going on with some great prizes and a bass thing going on. They're releasing their bass but weighing them up before they return them unharmed to the sea. So pretty good there. Aloha Spirit, KJ from Mag 12 Swim Baits was on board this one, and KJ couldn't wait to send me the information. Man, I'll tell you, KJ, I'm so happy you had a great trip. 18 guys, 9 halibut, 2 white sea bass, and 8 calico bass. And I'm telling you, Pat O'Brien, the captain of the Aloha Spirit, is sky high on what lies ahead for all of us this year. Stay tuned at the end of the report. You're going to love to get caught up with what he has to say. Back to KJ, he had one of those white sea bass, caught it on a Mag 12 mini slender with a 3/4 ounce lead head. One thing I will tell you before Pat O'Brien drives it home to you is if you're fishing the fin bait like a sardine or a chovy, you definitely want to use 15-pound, even 12-pound. You're in the sand, you're not going to get rocked, you're going to get more bites if you do that and you choose a good hot bait. Hey, it's been a while since I've been jumping up and down here in Surfside about choosing a good hot bait. But choosing a good hot bait, you'll hear it from Pat at the end of today's report, is so very, very important. So keep that in mind. Some pretty good halibut fishing. And there's also some stuff in the surf that we'll talk about in one moment. I cover the surf fishing update toward the end of the report also, and it's been pretty darn good. As the sand replenishment here in Surfside, we've had erosion here so bad that the waves are rolling up on the houses here, but the sand replenishment is underway, and it is really a marvel to watch how much sand they put on the beach here. Pretty incredible stuff. All right, in addition, we continue to see some pretty darn good bass fishing. wintertime bass bite this year seems to be great. You know, we had an influx of sand bass last year, and some of it looked like migratory fish, and I think a lot of that stuff settled on the structure, and we are reaping the benefits of that right now in 2024. Daily double, really nice sand bass and sculpin fishing yesterday out of San Diego, and they are out again today. And you'll never guess who's cooking on the daily double. Our friend Scott Bouchard. Scott is on board. He's the galley cook, and he promises to keep us up to date on the daily double and what they do today, which means we'll get no updates at all today. Actually, I'll be checking in with the captain of the daily double and seeing how they are doing. But they've had some really good bass fishing. Again, you're fishing as heavy a line as you can get away with, but between 20 and 40 pound for the most part. Fluorocarbon is an absolute must. In most cases, you're fishing with fresh dead squid, live squid if you can get it, or fin bait. And once again, you're fishing structure, so that means these bass are coming out of their holes, shipwrecks or rocky areas, whatever it is, and they're going right back in again. So when you hook them, you better get some line on them in a hurry, or you're going to get sawed off. So keep that in mind. Nice fishing on the daily double. Last night, New Del Mar, John Flood with some great twilight bass fishing. Man, they just keep cranking on the bass on those twilight trips. I'm telling you, that has been excellent fishing for those guys. Redondo's been in on it. Some of these LA Orange County based boats, Dana Wharf, they've all been catching some of this late, or I should say early winter bass. And man, it has been really excellent fishing, no question about it. So keep that in mind. Remember, you got to pull hard and get those fish away from the structure, or you're gonna be in big trouble. All right, besides the bass fishing, remember rockfish season is closed here in Southern California. You can make a left-hand turn out of San Diego and fish rockfish because in Mexico, rockfish is open right now. So you can take advantage of that. All right, let's talk a little bit about the surf. I'm telling you, it's been really, really good surf fishing, especially for bar perch. The bar perch bite has been great. Rosarito Beach down in Baja, California. Jose Enrique Garcia with a nice bar perch down there. The bar perch fishing south of the border has been extraordinary. There's been a lot of that 3-pound bar perch. I can't wait to get my butt down there and take advantage of that. That looks like so much fun. Glenn Saldivar, Honey Badger Baits. Glenn is all over it on a regular basis, catching bar perch. He's an extraordinarily gifted surf fisherman, and he continues to show that off on a regular basis. It's been really great fishing. There's also some yellowfin croaker in here, and there's some decent halibut fishing right here from the surf. Also, love surf fishing. I mean, if you're on a tight budget, man, you can come down here and for very little money have a great time in the great outdoors and actually catch enough fish to go home and put on a meal with if you're lucky. If not, you breathe some fresh air, get some exercise, and enjoy this beautiful Eastern Pacific. How can you beat it? You can't. It's really, really good stuff. So some pretty good surf fishing going on. We see some really great lobster hoop netting right now. Locally, it's been good. I'm talking San Diego up to the Channel Islands. Catalina's been good. Islands up in the Channel Islands. Man, the hoop netting's been fantastic. How about, though, Jeff Frost had a 9-pound lobster. Man, that is some great eating right there. That is one heck of a big langosta, big bug, and the lobsters have been crawling. And now that we have, you know, I'm going to call this a storm. I guess you could call it a storm. If I were one of the news stations, I'd be hyping it up. Storm watch, hunker down, make sure you don't go outside today. We may get a 1/4 inch of rain and 10 knots of breeze, so please be very, very careful. But we're not going to hype it up like that. But there's enough of a kind of a storm here, if you want to call it that, to make lobster crawl. It seems like after you get some wind and rain and a little bit of inclement weather, lobster like to crawl. So once it settles down a little bit, look out, man. It should keep right on going on your ProMarAhi.com hoop net lobster hoop netting, something like that. And I mentioned that website, ProMarAhi.com, because they have some great tutorials on lobster hoop netting, and you should take advantage of that. And of course, they've got all the gear you need to be successful. Whales, as I mentioned, are in full migration right now, moving in front of Southern California right here. Elisa Schulman-Janiger, she's up there at Point Vicente on the Palos Verdes Peninsula here in Southern California, right next to Redondo Beach, California. And they actually try to count the gray whales going by. 2 days ago, 16 southbound grays. There were 6 calves in there. And yesterday, 14 grays. So, man, this is a great time to get out with your family and show them this great migration. 10,000 miles from the Bering Sea down to Baja and back. It's the longest mammalian migration known to man. It's really something. And of course, we've had that occasional orca sign. There's some fin whales. It's a great time to get out, and tons of dolphin. You can really enjoy yourself. Freshwater fishing, I thought I'd mention a few things. Lake Amador in the Sierra Nevada. Up there, they put 1,000 pounds of trout. So a lot of trout stocking going on right now. Some of the local lakes, and I'm talking about, Miles Square Park here in Orange County and Alondra Park, they are stocking on a way more regular basis for trout fishing. Another kind of fishing that won't cost you all that much. Grandpa, grandma can take the grandkids out. Dad, mom, you get a few hours, you can go down there and try to catch a trout, let the kids play around. So really good stuff. Santa Ana River Lakes, an 18-pound rainbow trout. 18 pounds? That is one heck of a rainbow trout. Congratulations on that great catch. I'm telling you, that is really something. How about a couple of lightning trout at Santa Ana River Lakes here in Orange County? They've been on fire, having really, really good stuff. Francisco Saldivar said, man, I almost caught my limit of rainbow trout. And Hector Perez went 3-4-3 at Santa Ana River Lake. So that is also another alternative option available to each and every one of you. Next, I'm going to segue into really some great stuff with Captain Pat O'Brien from the Aloha Spirit. Pat's going to take a deep dive into what is going on up there in the Channel Islands. You can join them on the Aloha Spirit, but they book up fast. So you're thinking about a great charter, that would be one to do. And once again, and by the way, the Aloha Spirit is the same boat as the El Patron down at 22nd Street Landing. And the El Patron and Friedman Adventures are going to be doing a lot of trips this year. That charter schedule I will have with me tomorrow at La Fogata. Don't forget, 1 to 3 in the afternoon, great Mexican cuisine. We're going to have a lot of fun there. And you can join us. Just come on over, kick back, introduce yourself, because I need to shake your hand. And thank you for your great support. Millions of views, 12,000 subscribers now. Couldn't be any better, and I can't thank you enough. Thursday, the Bar Hall show starts. You're not going to want to miss that one. It's going to be a fantastic, fantastic show. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sam De La Torre, Island Fishing Tackle, he'll be there. The Independents, they'll be there. There's so many guys to mention to you all. All right, my friends, I don't know what to say. We missed the rain. It's a gorgeous Saturday morning. I can't thank you enough for spending some time. Stay tuned. Coming up right after we say goodbye, Pat O'Brien and the Aloha Spirit with a lot more current Southern California information. The halibut bite, the potential for a yellowtail explosion, white sea bass, and how to catch them. Pat O'Brien from the Aloha Spirit coming up next. Have a great day, and I hope to see you really, really soon.
Good. Nice to be here, Phil.
Hey, it's my pleasure, man. You guys have been really doing a number on the halibut. Just looking back at 23, that had to be, and I'm a lot older than you, but that had to be the best halibut year I've ever seen in Southern California. It was phenomenal.
It was good. It was good. Yeah. It was definitely one of our better years for sure.
And so here we go. It's January, and I'm thinking to myself, well, there's no way, the halibut bite's going to kick off this early. But
I didn't think so either, Phil.
I know, but we've had at least here for a lot of the winter time in the late fall, squid, which can be a magnet, part of the food chain. And I think that's starting to pay off. Just a couple days ago, what'd you have? 18 guys, 34 halibut?
It was incredible. Yeah, it was really good fishing. Really good fishing.
Tell me a little bit about that trip. Were they wide open? There was a guy
It
on
was.
there.
It was a surprise to me because we went out, we drifted around. Well, we made some squid. There's been a big mass of squid behind the island there.
Yeah.
So we made our bait. We looked around the squid bed and we just kind of drifted inside the squid bed there. And we had a few bites and then something changed. The afternoon conditions, I think it was the low tide going into the high. And we moved over a little bit, kind of I think where the current was kind of going, and things got pretty busy. It was basically 2 drifts for the majority. I think we had 5 or 6 before that, but after that it got pretty hot. And that was one of those halibut bites where it was almost like a sea bass bite where you're like asking the deckhand next to you, like, let me see the get, like, we're running out of gaffs because we're so busy. We were running around over under kind of stuff with halibut. It was pretty cool.
Get out of here, man. That sounds like
Yeah,
so much fun.
It was wild. I'm sure we lost as many as we hooked too. It was pretty hot and heavy.
Hey, before we go any further, by the way, and I'm going to ask you and pick your brain because you know way more than I know, but Cisco Sportfishing, Oxnard, the Aloha Spirit, you guys are doing these trips Wednesday through Sunday, am I right?
Well, we started off just I wanted to do it one day a week because I know that stuff started pretty early last year. We started hooking as soon as we started trying for halibut last year. We started catching them, and that was in March. So I said, what the hell? One day a week, let's just dedicate it to halibut. But it went so well that first day. We've kind of been, why would you go fish something else when you're getting double-digit numbers of halibut? So we've been doing it. I don't want to say halibut or bust, but we're fishing halibut every day they're biting. Obviously conditions change and stuff like that. When things change, might have to go do something else. But as long as they're biting, we're fishing them. And yeah.
Hey, Pat, there's a lot of people watching us right now. In fact, I just have to say hello to somebody, Capri TV. Hello, guys, watching from Palawan in the Philippines. I spent a lot of time in the Philippines, so we've got people all over the world watching, and that's great. Maybe somebody will jump on a plane. They'll jump on a plane and come out to see you and fish with you. So let's bring it into today now. I know KJ from Mag 12 Swim Base was out with you because he's already sent me like some info, and he was telling me what a great time he had today. Another good day today, and a little sign of sea bass, it sounds like.
Yeah. It's we're seeing today. We had we lost a couple bit better ones. They're not the greatest grade. I don't know if it's that big schools you see show up in spring, but there's stuff around. I don't know what the deal is with it, but yeah, we saw some sea bass today. We caught a couple legals. We lost a couple, I'm sure. And we'll see what comes of this. I didn't see the big schools that we see show up in spring, but for some reason that stuff was around today. So I mean, there's stuff around.
Yeah. Hey, another guy watching, JC says, I have got to get on this trip with you. So that's awesome stuff.
Well, we do our best. Today we actually fished a little bit different area too. There's so much squid that we've been looking at different. There's several different squid beds, and we're looking at. We've been keeping good tabs, and I tell all my passengers in the morning, with this amount of squid around and this good water we have going on this year, it might not be today, and it might not be tomorrow, but I say one of these days we're gonna kick some fish's ass on this, some yellowtail and some sea bass and stuff. So we've been keeping tabs on it. We've been rolling through there every morning and giving it a good look and trying stuff and making bait. And one of these mornings, like I said, we're gonna kick the piss out of them.
Pat, if you're trying to get us all excited, you are succeeding. Let me tell you.
Hey, man, it's fishing. It's like just because it's January, you shouldn't. Just you got to go fishing. We did this halibut. We had yellows in January before. It's not, it's El Nino or not. That stuff's around.
Yeah, absolutely. Dan Lightfoot says hello to everybody. He's watching right now. Pat, one thing that makes the Aloha Spirit special to me, and I have yet to. Did we lose you there? Oh, shit, we lost Pat. I can see he's trying to get the sound back. Huh. All right, he's going to rejoin us here in a second. I really want to ask him. Hey, Pat, you're back.
Yeah, sorry, I had a phone call come in and it cut out.
Oh, man. I got this guy, Scott Bucher, calling me 24 hours a day. I know how that is. I block all my calls for that
Yeah,
reason. But
I get a lot of phone calls when they bite.
I know, man. You're going to get a lot more after this. There's a ton of guys. Hey, Pando56, I might as well ask his question to you. He's on here. He says, what gear should I bring for halibut? I haven't caught one yet. I really want to catch one. Can you help this guy?
Yeah, so when we're fishing right now, I don't know if this is helping, but I think it always helps. And you've been fishing long enough. Guys fishing light line get a lot more bites.
Yes.
Lot more bites. Obviously, when you're fishing, aside from squid, but if you're fishing fin bait, the guys that are getting the most bites are fishing really lively baits. They're changing their baits. You know, some guys wind up and they see the bait kicking a little bit, and they say, "Oh, he still looks good," and drops it back down. That's not going to catch the attention over the guy standing next to you with a real lively bait. If you're fishing halibut or pretty much anything from bluefin to barracuda, you want that bait that's swimming. You know, and same with halibut. You want a bait that's down there flashing around better than the guy next to you. So that's key. Real lively baits every time you wind up, every couple minutes, whether anchovy or sardine, you want something down there where you can feel your rod tip bouncing around. And light line, I think, is helping. I do. I
You
think
know,
I
go
tell
ahead.
a lot of guys 15 and 20 or 12, 15 pound. You know, got to get guys fishing that light line again. Um, Especially with halibut's one fish that you can get away with that. I mean, a lot of fish you get a lot more bites, but halibut's one fish that you're fishing mostly in the sand, right? So 12, 15 pound test, you should be fine with your drag right. So
Are you a big proponent of fluorocarbon or not?
I don't say anything wrong with it. You know, sometimes when stuff's biting, I don't think it matters so much, but yeah, fluorocarbon for sure. And anything that helps to get you bit, and if you think you get bit better on fluorocarbon, fish it. Why not? You know, fish fluorocarbon. I think it works. I do think it works really well. I just sometimes it doesn't matter, but I think why not? You know, it probably does.
Excellent. Hey, a guy by the name of John Moore. Do you know John? He was out with you the other day.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
Hey, let me tell you, he called me after the trip and he goes, Phil, tell everybody 15 pound. That's what got all the bites. So we really appreciate you sharing that with everybody, Pat, because
And that goes for everything.
yeah,
Well, I mean, you know that you grew up when I was a kid. I remember going out fishing, and everyone was fishing 15 and 20 pound. And now I see
yeah,
a lot of guys getting on the boat with heavy line. And I get it, the big yellows and stuff. You never know, but you're gonna get a lot more bites with light line.
100%. There's a guy named Kai Fish Killer. He says, hey, Pat, I hope you're doing well. I miss fishing with you and Sean. I really want to get out with you again
Nice. Yeah.
sometime soon. He's enjoying this interview here tonight. So am I, Pat. It's great stuff.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
So what are the hours of your trips?
We do 5 to 4, but it turns out being a lot of 5 to 5 trips. You know.
Yeah, I get it, man. I mean, I hear it all the time. I was going to say before we lost you a second ago, I've been dealing with Sean for many, many, many years, and I hear it all the time about you, that your customer service is way up at the top, and then you add to the fact that you're such a nice person, and then you throw on there that your fishing expertise is really fantastic, and man, you can't beat a trip on the Aloha Spirit. And I say that because we have some people on here tonight saying they've never caught a halibut, they don't even know exactly how to do it. And I would push them right your way because I know, besides being a captain, you're a teacher, and you would take somebody like that and help them out.
I like questions, Phil. I like questions. I like guys that want to learn and do better. I mean, that's how I grew up fishing. I didn't grow up trying new lures and doing stuff. I grew up watching the guy in the bow catch fish and being like, what the hell is he doing? I'm watching what he's fishing. And when I see some guy getting bit, I'm like, what's he doing that I'm not doing? So that's what really, nobody knows it all in fishing, and half of it's luck, but it really pays to watch what's going on and watch what's getting bit. And if you can get on the boat with the right stuff, it definitely helps.
Hey, everybody, you're listening to Captain Pat O'Brien from the Aloha Spirit out of Cisco Sportfishing in Oxnard on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. We're just going to take up a little bit more of your time. I don't want to.
That's fine. I'm chilling. I got home. The wife's at her sister's house. I'm having a June shine.
And you're a free man for a few hours.
Well, maybe not a few hours, but I got a little time to kick my feet up and have a beer.
Excellent. Are you fishing tomorrow?
Yeah, we're out tomorrow. We got a little bit different weather, and I don't think this fishing's, our count slowed down from that big day. And that's not a surprise. I mean, it's fishing, but the weather's changed the last couple days, so we'll see what happens. I'm gonna look at a little bit different area tomorrow, and we'll be fishing around. I think this halibut bite's just starting to get going, to be honest, because like I said,
Really?
last year it started in March, so I think that I think we're just just barely starting here. But yeah, this weather changed things. I noticed a lot of weird, funky conditions today with that southeast. So we'll see. I don't think it's definitely just only beginning, but today I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Are we going to have much wind in the next couple days? Are you seeing that or not?
Not much wind, but just a little southeast presence.
Yeah.
And I even as a captain and a guy that's out all the time, I can never make sense of things like that. Guys ask me, well, what do you think about the full moon? I mean, we've knocked the crap out of them on the full moon, and we've also hated the full moon. So I don't know. I know the old saying, wind out of the south, they don't open their mouth, but we'll see what this southeast does. It definitely makes things funky. So we got this southeast little deal coming, and it's not a lot of wind, but it it changes things.
Yeah. How many rods and reels do I have to bring on a trip right now? Fishing this current halibut, sea bass / sea bass. What outfits am I smart to bring along with me? Obviously, a 15-pound outfit, right?
I would bring a 15 and 20-pound outfit, or your 15-pound outfit you can fish 20-pound on or whatever. I would bring a heavy rod in case we do encounter some squid bed fish, some bigger squid bed, possibly yellowtail or a big that larger sea bass, 30, 40-pound sea bass. It's always good to have like a 30 or 40-pound rod. Doesn't matter what time of year it is. It's always good to, whether you tie a yo-yo or a dropper loop and squid, it's always good to have a heavy rod just in case. Your light rod and then a plastic rod. We had a lot of fish bouncing around the fluke on the bottom and bouncing around hookup baits and stuff like that. So it's always those are the three main outfits I would show up with.
Perfect. Pat, can you talk just a little bit about how to fish the fluke, exactly how to do that?
There's really not a whole lot to it. It's just kind of bouncing along the bottom. We fished them in clear water, and you'll watch that thing. It kind of darts left and it darts right. As soon as you hit the bottom, you just kind of jerk it. And it's really important to fish a heavy enough lead head where you can feel that bait hit the bottom. Okay, because if you're fishing a real light lead head and you do that up, you don't. When you hit the bottom, you got to do your upswing, and then one of those times you go to do an upswing and boom, you're bit. But if you get conditions and current, you're fishing deeper. You got to match that lead head. So today, a lot of the fishing right now we're doing is pretty shallow water. You get away with like an ounce lead head is what I like fishing. In 30, 40 feet of water.
Yeah.
If we're fishing shallow right on the beaches, you can even go less than that if you want. And if we're fishing deeper for like squid bed fish, you're going to want 2-ounce lead head. We fish them 2-ounce lead heads for sea bass, and you're feeling that thing hit the bottom. And as soon as it hits the bottom and you watch your line go slack, you just swing it back up. There's really not too much to it. It's just feeling the bait hit the bottom and knowing where your line's at.
All right, excellent. Kai Fish Killer has a question for you. He wants to know, when do halibut spawn? What time of the year?
Well, I was under the impression that they spawn in spring, and I think they do. But all these halibut we're catching right now they're milking, so
wow.
They're spawning now, I guess, because all these halibut we're catching, we're sticking them. And the other day they were all mostly, I'd say more males than females, and they were all, white. They're doing their deal like sand bass do. So I don't know. I was under the impression it was spring, and maybe since I don't know, they say we got this El Nino beating down the path here, so maybe that's part of why things are earlier. The water's just as warm as it was last June, even at the Channel Islands. I mean, I saw 60-degree water today even. So it might be earlier, or these things just might spawn when things get right, because we've caught them in October. on, in shallow, stacked up, all together in a little tight, like nest or whatever, if you will, So I think it's spring typically, but they are right now. It's January.
I think that is the right answer, man. I do think they spawn in spring, but I think something's going on. And I say that because, those 5-day guys left San Diego and they went just like 150 miles south and caught yellowfin tuna. They were catching good yellowfin. And
I
now,
didn't know that. Wow.
yeah,
150 miles is where that yellowfin's at?
yeah, yeah, they were down
Nice.
there catching like 150, 170. And now they're catching barracuda pretty full speed in Ensenada. My Ensenada guys are telling me, sending me photos, the pongeros down there, they're just whacking on the big gar already. So maybe
That's
things are a
interesting.
little sped up.
Yeah, and that I know that those guys, like some guys were catching some bonita. My buddy in San Diego told me some bonita, like that bigger bonita and stuff. But yeah, I think, I don't know with this whole El Nino deal, but I think we're in for it. I've seen a lot of warmer than normal and bluer than normal. Like it's not that clean, green, freezing cold water. We've seen actually like blue 60-degree water for, I'm surprised how warm the water. It should up here at the Channel Islands this time of year should be about 4 degrees colder, I'd say.
Yeah,
With
right.
wind and yeah, it seems like something's going on. We haven't seen the yellows and all that stuff yet, but it seems like something's going on.
Dude, you've got me so hyped up now, man. I'm just thinking this
I
is going to
love it,
bust.
Phil. Let's go, man. I'm ready to go tomorrow. We're gonna go find them again.
I'm telling you, man. Hey, what has been more effective, fin bait or squid on the halibut?
Both. I
Okay.
can't say because the other day I thought we were getting bit better, and today I've been like, the last one was on the fin bait, and some guy catches one on the squid. So it's I think with halibut, it's one fish where I think I'm not sure if it matters too much. With sea bass and stuff, I'm gonna tell you squid. And probably same with yellows, depending on the time of year, but and what's around. But it seems like with halibut, you drift a squid bed with a sardine, you'll catch them if you get one near it.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I'll tell you, I can't wait for tomorrow because I got a funny feeling that you're going to get bit again. And you're going to
Don't
have
jinx
to.
it, Phil. I gotta remind everyone too, it is fishing. And just because we've had a couple really good days, conditions change. Like I said, I don't think this halibut bite is certainly not over. But if you don't see him in the count, don't think that it's over because things change. And I've shown up and water will drop. The current can go left when it was going right. Things like that can make things change. But I think that we're definitely we got something going and hopefully it sticks. But yeah, we'll see.
All right, very good. Omar says he is so in for a halibut trip after listening to this. He wants to know what size hookup bait are you using on the flatties?
Like that. I like the smaller ones, the 1 ounce. I think it is. I wasn't fishing it. I don't know. It's about that big.
You sound like me, man.
I don't
That's
know.
my
We
answer
actually
right
had a
there.
lot of hookup bait fish the last yesterday and today. We had 15 fish yesterday, and I think 7 of them were on hookup baits.
Really?
Yeah, I'm kind of getting when these halibut move in shallower to spawn, like inside the squid bed. I'm trying to see how much is really around. So I haven't fished really the same spot twice in our last 3 trips we've ran this season. So I'm kind of just stretching out a little bit. And if we need to go to some zone where we got bit, we will. But um, we're kind of testing the waters and seeing how much if the whole island's on or is it
Yeah.
just one little zone.
Yeah, yeah. Kai Fish Killer has a question, interesting question, I think, and that is, do you need current to catch halibut, like calico bass or some other species like that? Is current something that's important?
I'm still trying to figure it out too. I think current's important for all of them. Yeah, I do. I've seen our best bites are when things are ripping. But today we had absolutely not a lick of current, and we caught them pretty good. But we caught them until about noon, and then after noon, something changed. Not the current, but something changed, and they got real slow. We caught one from noon on.
Hmm.
and we caught some bass and some other stuff we had to throw back. You know, I catch a lot of like shallow water stuff on squid and plastics and short bass. We had action, but something changed and there was no real rhyme or reason with the current. It was in the middle of a tide, you know, dropping. I don't know. You know, I think current matters, but I think if you find a good area of fish, it all depends. But overall, yes, current does matter. Yes.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this is such a freaking mysterious game, isn't it? You can never like put your finger on exactly
Yeah,
why they bite and why they don't. It's weird, right?
I really don't know. And every day is that's I really like what I do because until you have those days where shit's not biting. But overall, it is yeah, it's bizarre because you think you got it all dialed, and then
Yeah.
something, you know.
Hey, do you know a guy named Jeff Yeomans from the 540 Slingers Club?
Absolutely, yeah.
Man, I always thank him for his service. He's a great guy. He's on here.
What's
He
up,
says,
Jeff?
"What's up, Captain Pat? Glad to see you are on the halibut and sea bass. Awesome January fishing." He's a great guy.
Yeah, Jeff's cool.
Yeah, right
He wasn't
on, man.
out too long ago. I think he came out fishing towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I got to get up there with you guys. What's wrong with me?
I don't know, Phil. I don't know.
There's a long,
I
there's a long list, Pat, of what's wrong with me. Let me tell you.
I watched an old video of yours not too long ago of you
Oh
fishing
my God.
yellows back in like in the 90s on at Catalina. It was a good one.
Oh yeah.
I like those throwback videos of like, you know.
Man, I'll tell you, I listen to some of those and my narration is so freaking over the top that it's like embarrassing right now. But I mean,
Not to me, man. Us fishing geeks like this, I love it. What's his name? Brockman. Yeah,
yeah.
Brockman's running the boat.
Oh, that's funny, man. I'll have to go back and watch it. I just had Donnie on for a long form podcast, and it was
Oh,
good to
he's
see
cool.
him
I've
again.
met him a couple times working squid stuff with my buddies, but yeah, it was a good watch. It was very entertaining.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I just posted. It's funny you say that because I got into some of my old stuff today, and I found this video we shot when the XL got in with that 445-pound yellowfin tuna, largest YFT ever caught. And
Yeah,
I,
about 10 years ago or something.
yeah, 2012 actually.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
I posted that, and it's over 5,000-6,000 views here tonight. So it
That's cool.
pays to go back. Hey Pat, this has been a delightful visit. I really, really appreciate it, and I wish you the best of luck tomorrow. I won't say anything about you're going to kill him tomorrow. I won't jinx your trip, but
Yeah,
when you
you
do
never
kill
know.
him,
You know better than I do, man. It's fishing, not catching, but yeah. So
exactly. And hey, could you remind everybody one more time again when you're fishing, how people can book with you, how they can come out and experience this really great wintertime halibut bite?
yeah. So right now we're fishing Wednesdays through Sundays. We got Monday, Tuesday off. Come March, we're gonna be fishing. 7 days a week. You can call Cisco's Sportfishing. I believe it's 805-382-1612. Yeah, that's the number. Yeah, Aloha Spirit Sport Fishing. We're out every day. If you guys want to come with us in June, we do a lot of sea bass. Well, pretty much primarily sea bass and in June, but we're booking up very fast. In fact, I think June's done, but May last couple years, actually ever since El Nino, the May has been almost better than June, late May, and there's still open spots. So if you want a shot at a sea bass, I won't say sea bass or bust, but we definitely do everything we can. We'll get in late trying to catch a sea bass in May, June, July, as long as they're around. So.
All right, Pat. I don't care what KJ says about you, man. I love you. Great.
All right, Phil. Nice talking with you.
Hey, my pleasure. Best of luck tomorrow, and I expect a call from you tomorrow in a wide open halibut bite. And if so, we'll
I'm
hook
only
up.
calling when it's good, Phil.
I don't blame you, Pat.
All right,
Pat,
buddy.
have a great evening and say
Yeah,
hi to
you
Sean
too.
for me and take great care.
I will do that. All right, thanks. See ya.
Thank you.